So I have just arrived in Bologna, right? This is my first time out of the country, and I'm jazzed. All the Italian students that live in our building wanted to throw a birthday, or not a birthday, they just wanted to throw a party for the American students that had just arrived. And I'm like, yeah, this will be really fun, get to know some of my neighbors, get to know some of the other students that I'll be studying with. Like, this is awesome. I proceed to take advantage of the basically non-existent Italian drinking laws as a 20-year-old. I got way too drunk. I started speaking French to people because I knew French, and I thought, oh, they're Italian, they must know French. Fun fact, they didn't. And I befriended a bunch of Italians who, fun fact, didn't even live in our building. They decided, like, oh, let's go to this club. Let's go to this club in the middle of the center. And mind you, I know nothing about the city. I had literally just stepped off the plane like 2 or 3 days before. I decided, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to this random club with a bunch of people you don't know in a city where you do not speak the language and you do not know the streets. And like inside, I could hear my mom being like, Riley, no, he was such a good kid. Why did he do this? Well, sorry, Mom. And I had a blast. I went to Lab 16, which is just trashy. I mean, it's a dirty dance floor, but we stayed there until like 4 in the morning, until I sauntered back to my building. So you're like, oh, like crazy. Went off with some people you didn't know. Whoa, we made it back alive. No, the best part is that the next day I had to catch an early bus to Switzerland with the rest of the Americans, who I did not know. I'm woken up by our kind of like advisor. She was like an RA. Okay, so I'm just throwing stuff in a bag. I'm hoping I have underwear. I'm hoping that I have stuff for the mountains. At this point, I'm just like, well, you know what? Life's a goddamn mystery anyway, so let's just keep it rolling. When hungover, I'm like a wounded animal. I do not want to talk to anyone. I just want to put on sunglasses, put up my hood, go into a corner, and wait to die. Mind you, I don't know anyone around me. No one. So I basically got kicked off as a group, being like, hey, that's the one kid who is super weird, hungover, and in the back of the bus, everyone's taking pictures like, oh, look at the mountains, oh, look at snow. And I'm like, this just cannot be over fast enough. Like, I am in pain. No human should live through this. No human. That's how I was introduced to everyone, which is a great impression. I feel like all good impressions should start with someone not being able to function as a human and falling asleep with sunglasses on in the middle of a cloudy day.
Okay, let's get this party started. I'm filming this on a selfie stick, by the way, so I'm millennial trash. Oh well. And also I like wine.
Yeah. So first off, when you go abroad, a bunch of really weird things happen. Like, sometimes you will get locked out of the laundry room because they lock it at 1 a.m. for some reason, and then you'll realize that you have nothing to wear the next day except for wet clothes. That's a fun, cult. I'm not even sure it's cultural. I think it was just the place that I lived in was so goddamn weird. Okay. Now, a little bit about myself. I studied abroad in Bologna, Italy. I was the only one from my school, actually the first person from my school to go to this program over in Bologna. So I knew no one. No idea. And I got an email right before I left, like a couple days before, from one of the guys on the ground over there. And he was like, hey, here are the names of all the students. These are the schools they go to. It's like a bunch of people from a school in the south, a bunch of people from a school in the west, a bunch of people from a school that's located in a bigger Midwestern city, and then, one student from Iowa. I'm like, oh, cool. All right. Lone wolf. Let's do it. And actually, it was really cool not knowing anyone, because I made great, amazing friends that I still love dearly. So, go around, it's great. I was the only student from Iowa. We had this one professor who taught a social justice class, right? And, God, he meant well, but he did not know how to shut up and let the students kind of discuss ideas. I think we had like a 2-hour-long lecture. He would talk for an hour and 59 minutes. And one day he mentioned, or I was talking about Iowa, and I was like, yeah, joking. I was like, oh, we're all old, and, we're really peaceful people. Like, nothing really happens there. It's a pretty quiet, boring place. And he was like, oh, I used to teach in Iowa. And I was like, oh, that never happened. Like, this is a weird place to find someone who used to live in Iowa. And he said, yeah, I taught at this one college, and I was severely beaten, almost blind, when I was at an anti-war rally in 2003. Here I am, the lone representative from my state that apparently just beat the shit out of this guy, And I'm like, what the fuck you want me to do? Like, honestly, like, I'm sorry. Like, that's not featured on our tourism brochures. Like, what do you want me to do with this shit? And it was so awkward. Like, I was just sitting there for the rest of the class, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this info? And he, like, it looked like he had, like, a brief mental relapse and, like, went back into the moment where he was savagely beaten for his ideals. And I was like, oh, God, I just caused this guy extreme, like, mental anguish and pain simply by making a joke about my home state. Like, Jesus Christ. I didn't know that was gonna do that, and I was not prepared for that. But, you know, sometimes life throws you a damn curveball. Kids. Oh, by the way, this is red wine. Sangiovese from Emilia-Romagna. Trader Joe's. Nice. So I hung out with a lot of kids who we really like to go out and, you know, have fun, really experience the life of being a young student in Italy, where the drinking age is essentially non-existent. Considering I was under 21 at the time, it was awesome. So we'd go to these bars and all this stuff, and we try to hit new bars all the time just to, you know, experience new things. So we went to this one bar where you walk in, and it's really narrow. It's kind of modern, but it's a really narrow bar right when you walk in. And, you know, we're told by the bouncers that, you know, you go downstairs and it opens up into a little bit more. There's like a dance floor, different rooms, couches, all that jazz. So we're like, cool, that sounds like a fun place to go for, you know, a night out on the town. So we head down there, and the place is just full of Italians. And we are like, awesome. This is perfect. So we're having a fun time. We're kind of realizing, like, all of these Italians are looking at us super weird. And we're like, okay, like, maybe they're just not used to having Americans around. You know, we are speaking English to each other. Could just be that. No worries, no biggies. Like, it happens. So we're kind of having fun. We're partying. We're dancing. We're probably there for like half an hour, 45 minutes. When suddenly a member of the bar carries out a cake with candles that are lit and 2 bottles of champagne. Yeah, that's right. We walked into a birthday party and crashed it. Go us. We crashed this poor girl's birthday party. We were like, fuck. Like, what do we do? Do we stay? Do we leave? Do we get some cake? Like, we have no idea what the protocol is for this. We decided to leave, and knowing us, we probably went to some sleazy bar that we normally would go to and drank away our sorrows for like €1 or €2. 2 American girls came to Bologna and came to our program like about halfway through the semester. And one had previously been in the program for a semester, and she went back to the States, and they were doing like a research project or something. We were all like, oh, let's go out, let's go have some fun, let's, you know, go to a local bar. Who worked there was the Magic Sam. Now, Magic Sam in Bologna, he's like a staple. He's not originally Italian, and his specialty is sexual harassment and this concoction. I still don't know what was in it, but it's serious shit. It will mess you up. Like, not for the faint of heart. You should probably sign a waiver. And we decided to get, like, not 1, but 2 Magic Sams. Normally you're like, oh, 2 drinks, whatever, that's fine. No, Magic Sams are not of this world, and were not made for human consumption. They will mess you up. So we have those, and we're like, whoa. All right, let's keep this ball rolling. It's like 2 in the morning. So we go to the street, and we see that this like building that we've never really seen open before is just popping. This place is booming, jumping, happening. So we walk inside, and we see that it's a building for the University of Bologna. Like, it's a university building. And we're automatically greeted by the security guard, who is literally like doing a Sudoku. I kid you not. Like, he's just like, fuck this. I don't have time for these hooligans. We're greeted by like 6 stray dogs and a bunch of people who looked homeless. Like, they probably weren't homeless, but they were like probably pretty homeless. And we're like, what the fuck? Where are we? What is going on? Wait, they're selling alcohol and people are like dancing. Let's check this out. Let's hang. Let's see. So we decide to stay. I mean, this place is getting destroyed. People are partying like monsters. We don't know why. I mean, granted, it's like the middle of the week, and we're just like, I mean, we don't need an excuse to have a fun time, so I guess they don't either. We later find out they were a group of communist students who were occupying the building. You know, just stuff you wouldn't really find back home in Iowa or wherever you may live. Probably. Yeah, so that is a story about how I ended up going to a communist party in the middle of a university building on like a Wednesday. Classic mix-up, you know? Goodness God, gang.
If I move my head, I cover up the shadow.
Oh!
Julie, you'll edit this out later. You'll figure it out.